And the John Sweller, an Australian, came up with this theory back in the early 90s, and it's had some traction. He actually mentions, did a number of studies in the early 2000s to suggest or try to rebuff the notion of unguided or minimally guided instructions, such as constructivism. But there's definitely a reaction more towards a moderate, or one would say a more recent view that you can include both. And there's now a lot of work towards the constructivist instructional design by Charles Radelith and James Sweller. No, sorry, I've got the wrong name. Where is he? He's back here. Oh, I got rid of him, did I? Oh, Jerry Willis, I apologise. So, another thing that's influenced this sort of approach has been the backwards design idea. As some of my research and into teacher pedagogy, it was very noticeable that it was a common habit for teachers to design activities themselves, experience. This is the starting point of the first activity, MIDI rock activity. Now, within it, you could hear the clash of chords. It's pretty unappealing sounds. Through the process steps, the students actually improve, change the quality of the sound, insert new sounds, insert more notes, insert other more texturally effective parts. And so through the whole guided structure, they come out with, hopefully, an end product that's rather similar to this, if I can get it open quickly. Where are we? That one there. Let's see if it loads in. Hello, come on. I'm also going to share with you some of the student reflections from this particular activity to give you an insight into it. You can see that it's been extended. There's new parts coming in there that the students have created. Now, this is not using Apple loops for those people who are familiar with GarageBand or Acid Music. These are things that the people have actually had to program in. So I'm using a different part of it, or trying to encourage the students to use a different part of their program that they may not be thoroughly aware of. If we listen to it, etc., etc. Now, that type of layering, etc., that's modelling a whole lot of skills and techniques that then they apply to a free choice activity. There is a series of questions posed to the students. And in this case here, it says, what was the intention of the music? What were the editing devices you used? Etc. Now, here's two examples of what one of my classes had. Getting the students to take a screenshot to prove, these are the steps that I've taken within the task, and then formulating their own response to directed questions. We get a little bit of an insight of what they were thinking about. And of course, I'm trying to set up the notion that they need to understand the intention of what they're trying to do. Sections. How could this music be improved? I believe the piece of music could be improved by adding more sounds to various sections or changing the pitch of notes, something to vary it up a bit. It may sound even better if there were more sections to the music. That's fair enough. I'll show you a different student's opinion. Point 6, I think with some of the things I put in, it could have been more accurate and some other parts could have been done faster. So pretty short and succinct, but that's okay, that's where this person was at. Which sections do you think sounds the best and why? We're looking at positive comments, so that the reflections are about what they have done, not what they didn't do. What I want to share with you is a learning model that I've been developing called ENDCAR. Sounds really weird, and it's an acronym. The acronym is for nouns, so experimentation, trying out the general concepts of whatever the gadget is, modification, altering them through trial and error, then deconstruction, meaning critically analysing, in this case could be preset sounds if it's a synthesizer, could be patches, could be a variety of things, and I'll show you a couple of ways that we can present that. How does the gadget work, so to speak? Construction, meaning creating, if it was a synthesizer, a patch or a sound. applying it, using the sound or patch in a musically creative way, editing and modifying the recording. And then finally, the R, the reflection, explaining their understanding of what they've done. Now, framed around those guidelines there, those activities fit in to this section here, the deconstruction and construction. However, clearly this fit was originally designed for things like plug-in synthesizers or the opening novice learning aspect of, hey, here's GarageBand. You think you know all about it? That's great. What if you just have a go at telling me these few things about the software without me showing it to you? So I'm going to show you a little bit of the strategies that we can do with experimentation and modification if I can have a volunteer. Because this is a workshop, it's not meant to be a big talk. Often we frame a learning around initially saying, look, this is the authentic use of it, and then frame the activity back from there. Now, I showed them this film here without very little introduction, but I did ask them to think about the type of things that were taking place, the emotions that the music was conveying. Meeting you. Framed around those notions that the same visual image can have very quite dark meanings. That particular one at the end, we spoke about at length. We all got the humour aspect, we all got the spy type music, it's probably in its authentic context. But this one here tapped into a very different emotional range. There's about of the type of YouTube approach where it's like, you show me how to do something. And I thought I'd actually go through the process of this for you as well in a moment when I'm introducing a different type of topic. But here's a little example. You should already have opened up the Dancing Baby song in Surveillance. To open the video, go to Window, select Video. Then we're going to load in a video clip. We go to the Play menu and go down to Video and Time and choose Add Video. We then locate the Resources folder. So we're on the Okay, I've skipped that little bit there because I'll now open up this one. Now the intention, of course, is that the students watch these and then do the steps. Now that's fraught with a lot of information overload for many students. Often, some teachers, after showing them these, will then give them a list of paper to go, and these were the points that it was trying to make, which kind of defeats some of the purpose. You either are having short clips that are very specific to what the intention of the learning is, or you're doing something else. Now, the repeatability of these is quite clearly one of its affordances. That's the right word for it. They're able to keep going back over it. In this case here, we've got the Dancing Baby up now. We're now going to listen to the recording of the original Dancing Baby music. We open up the mixer from the Windows. Here, we're trying to use the ideas bank so that they're actually able to use what I'd call notation loops rather than audio and MIDI loops, and therefore assemble their own version of what could be the accompaniment for a film. In this case here, it's a worked example, and then in the end, they choose their own piece of film and create their own music. Similar sort of guidelines to what I'm doing with this other activity with music creation using a GarageBand. Now,